Hey guys, Buffing Game back today bringing out a video, and today we're going to review the Call of Duty Vanguard Alpha for Champion Hill mode is what was given to us. And so first off, your footage you're going to see in the background is off a Friday night stream. You can go ahead and check out the VOD over on the channel itself if you want to see the whole gameplay here. So we ended off the stream with a win here in Champion Hill. My first win, this is actually my first time playing it, was here on stream live. So I played for about an hour. We got a win at the very end here. And I ended up dropping 25 kills, which apparently, from what you guys are telling me, is actually really good compared to like a lot of the high-level streamers and other guys that have been playing. 25 is really good. So I dropped 25. Odin, who is my partner here, dropped 17. So we had a combined total, I think it was 42 kills. And again, I dropped 25. So you'll see in the gameplay, just going through this as I speak through my opinions on the game so far, just in this alpha state. So, first off, the game itself, I really enjoy it. I think it is a lot of fun. The game mode, though, however, was very confusing. So, first off, let's start with some of the positives, and then we'll go into the negatives or constructive criticism, which I really surprisingly don't have that much to say negatively about this game. So, the positives, first off, it's on the same engine as Modern Warfare and a little bit upgraded. The footage you're going to see here is on PlayStation 5, so it looks really, really nice. And much better than Modern Warfare. It is a little bit dark, but obviously that's something you can adjust with your brightness settings, I believe. I just made it dark, and I turned off the motion blur for the weapons and the world just so we could get a sense of how the game looked graphically without all of that on. However, it would look much better with those on, as Modern Warfare did on PS4 and the last-gen consoles also. But the PlayStation 5 footage, you'll see, looks really good. It's definitely a game that's meant to be played, in my opinion, on next-gen consoles. Some good things about this is the mode itself encourages you to move. So you'll see in some of the clips here, I mounted a little bit here and there. Mainly earlier in stream, I was trying to mount and play behind this cover and wait for the enemies. The map design kind of discourages you from doing that, and the gameplay elements also discourage you from kind of mounting and camping it out. It really more so encourages you to move slowly around the map. By camping, you have destructible cover here. All this cover is basically soft cover that you're seeing on the map. The bullet penetration seems to be much more realistic compared to Modern Warfare 2019. Ballistics, things like that seem to be taken more into account with these kind of almost paper-thin environments where in real life bullets would be going through. So it makes sense to me. There was a couple times earlier off in the stream where I tried to mount and just got easily just destroyed because you can shoot through that soft cover pretty easily, especially if you have a higher caliber weapon to start off the game. So the map design, pretty good. The one of the maps you'll see in the background, you can start the match by just shooting directly across the map and killing your opponent, which is definitely, that probably needs to be adjusted come the final version of the game. But the destructible environments, for the most part, is basically just bullet penetration through soft cover, which works really well. It allows a more, I guess, dynamic type of gameplay to take place, especially in this mode where it's more competitive. Now, so we have graphics, the destructible-ish environments here, all are great. The gameplay elements, you can see there's definitely some improvements from Modern Warfare. The blind fire things I didn't test at all in the live stream because I really honestly didn't even know that it was available in the alpha, nor did I really have an option or an opportunity where I wanted to use those. But the blind fire is something that looks pretty interesting. You've definitely seen gameplay up there out that. It was in the reveal trailer for the gameplay trailer for the single player mission. But the game itself, a lot of fun. Everything moves really well. I don't really have anything negative to say. Everything was pretty positive besides as soon as you get into the mode and figure out what's going on. I think the mode, basically think of 2v2 gunfight from Modern Warfare, but on a larger scale in the tournament mode. Instead of going through the tournament ladder, you're basically all fighting at once in these surrounding maps, and the best of the 8 teams win. So basically you have 12 lives, and you need to be the last one to have more lives to win. And so this was really confusing to me. I didn't look into this previously. Not that I'm sure the information is out there as to what the mode is and how you would play it. That information was there. I just didn't look at it. So I had to basically learn live on stream. You guys helped me out, the viewers. Some key things here. You'll see some gameplay here, the DP27 in the background. This thing might be one of the better guns in the game right now. I really went off with this DP27. I'm not sure how many kills I had prior to picking this thing up. It looks like 11 at the top of my screen. But when I picked this thing up, I definitely went off. I was playing really good before, but this Russian machine gun, a lot of fun to use, pretty accurate, and you can upgrade your weapons. We saw a lot of weapon attachments. They look pretty good. There's definitely these holographic type sights don't belong in the World War II period. However, if you're integrating things in for Warzone, it definitely you need to have these kinds of items. So it's really a loosely followed World War II timeline for the most part, we'll have to see what that looks like. But really, you have to expand on these games. If these are going to be thrown into Warzone and try and compete with Cold War and Modern Warfare weapons, kind of going forward, all the Call of Duty games are going to have these standard types of attachments. We're going to see suppressors, grips, holographic sights, which obviously were not part of the time period, really, any of these back then. I think really the extent of sights you had was the STG-44, the Sturmgewehr from the German side, was able to be equipped with night vision optics on there. That was really the extent of any optic, for the most part, outside of sniper scopes. But all that in the game, I mean, it looks good, it fits, it's not overly outlandish. It doesn't look glaringly off, and I think they did a good job of integrating all these things. So the game itself looks really good, plays really good, and the game mode, again, really competitive and a lot of fun to play. Now, let's get into some of the cons here. I don't really have that many to say, and then I'll give my overall thoughts. So the cons, footsteps was a big thing. You can't really hear too many footsteps, which I think is a good thing and a bad thing. So in Modern Warfare 2019, footsteps may have been a little bit too loud in multiplayer, and to the point where they encourage more so camping, waiting to hear footsteps and jump out. In some situations, footsteps were not loud enough. But here in this particular version of the alpha that we're playing in the background, seems like footsteps were almost really non-existent. It was really hard to hear enemies. Mainly, I would be going through the map and waiting. It'd be all visual cues, very little sound cues. Basically, if I heard someone firing, that was the only sound cue that I would get as to someone's position. But no footstep audio. There's a lot of occasions where an enemy would be running up close to me, and I did not even hear them at all and didn't realize they were there until I got shot at. There's a few occasions where it would kill me. Other times I was able to turn on them and get the kill. But to not hear someone sprinting at you is definitely a problem, mainly in a competitive type game mode like this. The game mode itself could be very frustrating, if you don't know what you're doing, and when you can't hear footsteps like that and things aren't going your way. I'm a very competitive person, so when there's elements here that kind of go against you as a player for a competitive type mode where you're being encouraged to win, this is essentially a tournament mode, so to not have things like footstep audio is definitely a big problem that I would like to see just increased a little bit. Doesn't need to be stomping loud like Tarkov level footstep audio, but to be able to hear where your opponents are. People are moving around really close vicinity of you, and you can't hear any footsteps to know where they are at. So that needs to be increased a little bit just so you can get some general direction as to where the enemy is. If they're walking or sprinting near you, you need to know where that is instead of just be completely oblivious and rely on visual cues. The other negative, I think, really, the gameplay itself, a little bit dark. Again, on PS5, you can adjust this, so this isn't really a game criticism, more so probably a personal settings that I equipped here. The gameplay, again, a little bit dark, harder to see enemies. Some optic glints were and were not visible on occasion. Just kind of depended on I guess the weapon they were using. I didn't see the kill cams for some of the ones, the optics that I got killed with, but some being Car 98s. I'm not sure if there was what optics give off glint. All that stuff we don't know yet. So again, this isn't alpha, so you can't expect it to be perfect. This is kind of a trial and error, what's working, what's not working, and they'll pivot from there going towards the beta and the final product, obviously. So that's really the only two bad things I really have to say. I think the armor system was good. When you had armor, you had a good amount of protection, and also you were able to kill enemies within a reasonably fast TTK for somebody with full armor. You would get the armor indicator, and you would realize as to when their armor is broken. Sometimes I'd be shooting people, though, and it seemed like they should have gone down. However, it does give you the armor indicator. So then you realize you were shooting to break the armor. Really reminds me of like a Black Ops 4 blackout type mode with the armor, the way the armor was equipped in that mode, which I did like. I think it encourages gunfights and gun skill, which is a good thing, instead of having an extremely fast TTK. However, when you don't have armor, it seemed like the TTK was extremely fast. Now, for those numbers, I'll refer you to channels like Exclusive Ace, Drifter, those kind of channels that do all the data. But again, it seemed like it was very fast without armor. With armor, it seemed at a reasonable level. And maybe armor is probably just a thing for this mode in general. We'll have to see if it translates into multiplayer or whatnot. But I'm assuming it's just for this mode in general would be the armor plate situation. Again, an integration with Warzone, you have to look at everything they put into this game needs to be integrated into Warzone. So you're going to see very familiar elements put into the game. So that's really everything I have to say. Now, overall, the game. What do I think about the game overall? I think it's a really good game. It's a lot of fun. It looks great. It feels great. The movement, everything like that. The same as Modern Warfare. It is fun. I had fun as soon as I figured out what I was supposed to be doing. Now, before that, it was frustrating, and you would have seen that if you were watching the live stream. There was a few times I got definitely very, very upset and frustrated just because I didn't know what I was doing. I'm a competitive player. And until I figured out the maps, what was going on, how to pick up plates, extra lives, I didn't understand the game mode, anything at all. I was basically coming to this for the first time with no knowledge about anything. So as soon as I got that under control, yeah, it's a lot of fun. However, it is a very competitive mode. I can see this mode getting a little bit toxic after release. So this is definitely a good first mode to show off. However, deeper into the game's life cycle, this is going to be like one of those ultra competitive toxic tournaments. And coming out of like Warzone, the state of Warzone right now, it just has me overall in kind of a bad mood. So when I'm getting competitive in game modes like this, if things aren't going well, I'm going to get a little bit angry. So you would have seen that translate a little bit on stream, but as soon as we figured out what was going on, it was a lot of fun. And you can see in the background the DP27 just doing work in this game. Also, the Thompson was really good. The MG42 handled horribly. I finally saved up and bought that one game. Handles very slowly. I shot a lot of rounds at targets and didn't get the kills. One of the only time I used it, so I never picked that up again. But that's typical as to how you would expect an MG42 to be if you're running around with that thing and firing from the shoulder versus mounted it on a bipod or a fixed tripod. So I think the weapon mechanics, everything like that, bullet penetration, all really good. The game itself, so much fun. However, here's the but, is that I really don't have any intentions to play nor want to play a World War II shooter again. And I discussed this a little bit on the live stream. Coming from the original Call of Duty, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty World at War, and then we had Call of Duty World War II, which I did pick up and play a little bit. I'm just so burnt out from World War II. I also was playing a lot of the original Medal of Honors back in the day, which again were World War II, Allied Assault, Big Red One, all of these old Medal of Honors, which were going on at the same time as Call of Duty. And then you obviously had Battlefield 2042. We just had Battlefield 5, which was a big flop. And then you also have other games out there that really do more so of the squad type realistic elements of World War II, those being Hell Let Loose, to name one. And there's another one out there that I can never remember the name off the top of my head. I think Postscriptum is the other one. So Hell Let Loose and Postscriptum give you a more squad-like realistic experience for World War II, that squad-type gameplay translated into World War II. So there's just a lot of World War II shooters currently in the market, and they have been in the market. It's just been very, very overdone, mainly because I grew up on it. So for me, I really don't want to play World War II. And now the other thing here is we have Halo Infinite, and you have Battlefield 2042 coming out. So you have two big games coming out, one being Halo, which is a staple, and then you also have Battlefield 2042, which again, a modern Battlefield with all of the mechanics that I originally fell in love with, choppers, modern weapons, weapon customization. It's really a no-brainer. My full anticipation is on that game mode, and that's really what I'm excited to be playing, is Battlefield 2042. Everything in there is basically what I loved about Modern Warfare 2, but in the game that I originally have always been in love with, more so that being Battlefield. Battlefield's always been my main game. Call of Duty, I've always loved it, and Modern Warfare 2019 definitely brought me back to that. So the game is great. However, I'm not going to be playing it very much just because I prefer Battlefield 2042, what they're offering. But the good thing here is when you get a victory, you do get 19-inch biceps. If you saw on screen, I grew my biceps right there with the win, so that's a good positive. If you guys happen to get wins, we all have matching 19-inch biceps, so that's good. But big shout out to Sledgehammer. I did enjoy the game. Overall, just a lot of fun. Let me know down below what you guys think of the alpha. Give me your opinions, pros, cons. Will you be picking this up? Till next time, Buffner Gaming, out.